Hello and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that Marilyn Manson is creeped out by. My name is Cody. Say, cool mini or not? I guess not, in this new deck building game, Xenoshyft Onslaught. In Xenoshyft Onslaught, from Cool Mini or Not, 2 to 4 players are going to attempt to defend their base on some remote world from this onslaught, hence the name, of bug aliens as they attempt to destroy the base. Now, each player is going to receive a division card. This is essentially like your character. You could be the medic, the armory guy, the weapons guy, the scientist. There are all sorts of different advantages you get depending on which division you belong to. Now, the beginning of the game is going to see each player receive kind of their starting deck. That consists of 6 crystal cards, which is kind of like the currency of the game, and 4 militia cards, your weakest soldiers. Each player is also going to get 2 other cards, depending on what their division is. Now, next, the board has a number of troop cards that are going to be laid out there that you can kind of get at different times during the game. You're also going to have kind of an item area where different items are going to come out. Now, some people's divisions may say you start the game with a certain item. Any empty spaces on the item board are going to be filled up randomly by item tracker cards. These cards say what decks are going to go there, or rather what cards are going to go there that you can buy from. Now, if at any time, if all of the cards are bought from one item on the item board, then a new item tracker can be randomly selected, placed there, and then that card comes out. Each player will also kind of have a lane, which consists of 4 blue spots and 4 red spots for the good guys and the bad guys. The game is played out in 9 rounds, 3 waves to a round. Essentially, all you and your friends have to do is survive 9 rounds to win the game. You have a base, and your base has a certain number of hit points it can take. Essentially, you get 15 hit points per player. So if you're playing a 4-player game, your base is going to start with 60 hit points. If ever your base gets down to 0 hit points, you lose the game. Now, the beginning of the turn, pretty much you can do this simultaneously. Everybody goes ahead and they draw 6 cards. And this is going to consist of some of the troops in their deck, and it's going to consist of some of their crystal that they can buy stuff with. You can then go ahead, you can buy more troops, you can buy more items from the item board. But you're also going to draw 1 additional crystal card, and you can use that immediately to help you buy stuff. Once you buy the troops and the items you want to use, you can begin to arrange them on your lane. You put them in the blue spots, and you can attach, weapons and armor to your troops to kind of bolster either their health points or the power they're going to hit the enemy with. You can also, at this time, trade any items. You can essentially give people some of your items if you think it will help them, or even some of your troops if you think it will help them, and you're going to want to cooperate in this game. Then you're going to go ahead and place 4 face-down alien cards from the first Hive deck on the red parts of your lane. Then what you're going to do is you're going to flip over the first alien. Now, there may be a reveal effect. If that reveal effect says something, that's resolved first. That's the first thing you do. Players can then react. If they have cards that allow them to react to the reveal, they can play those then. Then you immediately go into combat. Combat's very simple. It's just a matter of comparing your strength versus their health and their strength versus your health, and then resolving that. And you can take hit points that are accumulate over the course of the combat, or you simply eliminate the cards. And sometimes the alien cards may have weird effects. They may simply move that card to the end of the round, or some other funky things. Now, as your guys are killed, you move your troops further up the lane. As the enemy is killed, you move the enemies further up the lane, and you keep revealing, until just kind of through attrition, you wear each other down. Now, ideally, your troops are going to completely clear the enemy lane. You're going to destroy all the enemies, and you can breathe a sigh of relief. But if the enemy succeeds in destroying all of your troops, and they still have guys on the board, you add up together all of the strength, all of the power of the enemy cards, and that's how many hit points your base is going to take because you failed to defend it. Now, where the first part of your turn, where you're buying stuff, you can pretty much do simultaneously. Combat, you're going to want to take turns and watch as each person does this. Once you have added up all the hit points that were taken by the base from everybody, and you add them onto the hit point tracker, you then advance to the next wave. Now, as I say, in the first wave, the first 3 rounds, you can only buy certain cards. When you advance to the next wave, you can buy some more cards. When you buy the next wave, you can buy more powerful cards. These cards become progressively more and more powerful. But your enemies are also becoming more and more powerful as well. Some of the effects that are coming out are pretty mean, and these guys are nasty. These are really nasty. Now, if you manage to survive 9 rounds without your base being destroyed, then you, the players, have won Xenoshyft Onslaught. However, if the aliens succeed in knocking your base all the way down to 0 hit points, you have lost Xenoshyft Onslaught. So, Xenoshyft Onslaught, I've been hearing good things about for a long time. I think I saw a video quite a while ago with Tom Vazel. He played it at some convention or something, and he was raving about it. He said how wonderful it was, and I'd heard other people go on and on about how great this game was, too. So I decided I was going to pick it up and see what I thought. And the game is, it's an interesting deck builder. There's some mechanics here that, frankly, I don't think I've seen anywhere else. So one of the biggest differences here from a lot of standard deck builders is when you purchase cards, when you bring cards from the item or the troop decks, they come into your hand immediately. They don't go to a discard pile. You can play them, you can place them on your lane, you can use them immediately. Now, when they get destroyed, you can put them into your discard pile, and they will cycle through again. But that's kind of a very interesting mechanic. It's not something I think I've seen before in a deck builder. Another thing that's kind of unusual is the fact that just every turn you automatically get a crystal card. You automatically get a currency card. So it's not like in something like the DC Comics deck building game where you can buy a kick card. You're investing your power this turn for greater power, coming up in your deck later. That's very interesting. Again, that's kind of a unique mechanic that you just get crystal, right? This is essentially a tower defense game. Combat in this game is interesting. The aliens, when they come out, they're scary, and they will screw you up if you're not careful. So, I mean, they can be nasty, and they can just do some weird, mean things. And you're putting your guys out there, and you think they're souped up, and they got armor, they got guns, and they're tough. They're going to take these guys on. And then there's some weird effect that you didn't even calculate for that completely blows, to crap all your preparations. It's very interesting, but the actual comparing of numbers there, it comes down to being a bit mathy and a bit deterministic. Now, it's not entirely deterministic because you don't see the cards. You don't know where they're coming, right? But once you reveal it and you see it, it's just kind of this basic math game. And I don't know. There is an element of chance there, as I said, because the cards, you don't know what the alien cards are going to be. And yet still, there was something about the combat, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not thrilled with the card mechanic. Now, I don't think this is a bad thing. This is just kind of my own personal feeling. This doesn't kill the game at all. And there's a lot of people out there that really like this kind of thing. Me, it's just a little weird. I wasn't wild about it. This game is hard. I'll tell you right now, I played a few games and I haven't won it yet. This is a tough, tough game. It is... Man, it's tough. They just keep coming. They're relentless and they get more and more powerful, and you just seem like you can't get powerful enough to stop it. And it's one of those games where at the beginning, you lose a few hit points on your HP here and there, like, I got a ton of hit points, I'm fine. And then after a few rounds, suddenly you're like, I'm really getting closer, and it gets quite scary. And one of the things this means is now you have some really cool options with the cards you're buying and how you're outfitting them and where you're placing them. And yet, there was a feeling to me of the game, by about the 5th or 6th round, starting to feel a little samey. And especially if you can see the end coming. And it's just like, do we really want to play this out, or should we just concede it? So there's a little bit of that to the game here, too. And that was a little disappointing. I don't know. The game got talked up a little bit for me. I was expecting, I think, a little bit more out of it than I got. I think it's a good game. I think it's a fun game. But, too, at the same time, my feeling is, there are better deck builders out there. I like Xenoshyft Onslaught, but I don't love it. I like it. It's fun. It's just not great. It just doesn't get me. My friend Holly actually said she probably would have liked this game better if it had been a competitive game. If you were actually using this kind of card combat system against each other and you didn't know what cards you were putting out, I don't know. That could work. But I don't know. That'd be kind of an interesting idea, an interesting way to play it. One thing, too, I was a little disappointed with is the cardboard quality of the lanes and the boards for the items and the troops. It was just kind of that real flimsy, light cardboard, and I was hoping for a little bit harder cardboard stock. I mean, I'm a big fan of Zombicide from Cool Mini, and that's just this incredibly hard cardboard stock here. This was just very, very light and flimsy, and it was disappointing. Frankly, if you got to buy this game or Legendary Aliens, I'd say Legendary Aliens is a much better game. I like that. If you got to fight aliens in space with a deck builder, I think the Legendary Aliens game is a much better game than this. Still, a lot of people out there, I have no doubt, will really enjoy the Xenoshyft Onslaught. So the recommendation for the discriminating gamer for Xenoshyft Onslaught is try it before you buy it. You may like it. It's got a lot of good things and fun things going for it. I like it. I just don't love it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and that Marilyn Manson is just weird.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
6. You got 6 got past it.
I got three swarmers. They killed my guys before they could even hurt them.
Any excuse for non-performance, no matter how valid, weakens character. Spencer W. Kimball.